Hello and welcome on the first Igraasp capsule of the new year. A news attitude is the new attitude. So get ready and always step up. The highlights of today's news capsule are: India joins UN Security Council as non-permanent member. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson cancels Republic Day visit to India. India's first hot air balloon wildlife safari launched in Madhya Pradesh. India's first pollinator park opens in Uttarakhand. Adobe Flash Player says goodbye. Australian Open 2021 to use Hawk-Eye technology for line calls. And last but not the least, our very stirring F2 segment. It's now time to begin our news capsule with the national news segment.
Last week, India, Mexico, Norway, Ireland and Kenya formally joined the United Nations Security Council. The UNSC is a principal branch of the United Nations responsible for the maintenance of international peace and security. The UNSC consists of 15 members, out of which Russia, the UK, France, China and the US are permanent members. The remaining 10 non-permanent members are elected on a regional basis and serve 2-year terms. This will be India's 8th time as a member of the UNSC, and their term began from the 1st of Jan 2021, and they will be part of the UNSC for 2 years as non-permanent members.
United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who was scheduled to be the chief guest at India's Republic Day parade on January 26, called Prime Minister Narendra Modi to express his regret about having to cancel his visit to India because of the serious coronavirus-related situation in the UK. The decision to cancel the visit came a day after Boris Johnson announced and imposed a nationwide lockdown till mid-February to control the rising number of COVID-19 cases in the country, especially after the emergence of the mutated strain.
South Korea's artificial sun, also known as KSTAR, has set a new world record by reaching a temperature of over 100 million degrees Celsius for 20 seconds, whereas the sun's core temperature is 15 million degrees Celsius. KSTAR's ultimate aim is making nuclear fusion power, which is an unlimited source of clean energy. Nuclear fusion works by combining two atomic nuclei into larger nucleus to release energy. Technology sure knows no bounds. We cannot replicate the sun, but we can create the same kind of fusion energy.
Adobe's Flash Player that opened the World Wide Web for interactive content and never before seen animations bit the dust recently. Over the decades, Flash Player has been used by many web developers around the world to bring rich experiences to browsers. However, it has been overtaken by new technologies since that are safer and perform better. This gradual phasing out began in July 2017 and should end around January 12, which is when Adobe plans to start blocking videos and animations running on Flash. Although this is the end for the Adobe Flash Player, gamers and web surfers are grateful for the opportunities this technology gave them throughout the years.
Do humans only litter the Earth? No. The many satellites and objects we send into space that aren't meant to come back are an increasingly worrying concern, since their debris may damage functional equipment in space or even crash into the Earth. To combat this problem, a Japanese startup called Sumitomo Forestry has teamed up with researchers from the Kyoto University to work on a wooden satellite expected to be launched in 2023. These satellites are a better alternative to the metal ones, since they would burn up after entering the atmosphere without releasing any harmful substances. Since currently no wood fits these prerequisites, the researchers are working on developing a new and confidential wooden material. This innovation is truly out of this world. Congratulations to the teams.
India's first hot air balloon wildlife safari in a tiger reserve was launched in the world-famous Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. Now, like Africa's forests, tourists in India will also enjoy hot air balloon wildlife safari. The activity will be restricted to the buffer area, and people can watch tigers, leopards, Indian sloth bear, and other wild animals from a height. This would be a new adventurous attraction for the wildlife reserve visitors, while being ecologically non-intrusive. The state is also planning to introduce similar services in Pench, Kanha, and Panna tiger reserves. Did you know, Igraaspers? Bandhavgarh National Park is a biodiversity park known for its large population in Bengal tigers. It is based towards the north of the ancient Bandhavgarh fort, thus getting its name.
A 4-acre park was opened for the public in Nainital district of Uttarakhand. It is India's first pollinator park. More than 40 pollinator species have been recorded in the park. Pollinators include bees, birds, butterflies, moths, bee-tails, wasps, bats, and small mammals too. Igraspers, did you know pollinators impact 35% of global agricultural land, supporting the production of 87% of the leading food crops worldwide.
A big priority on the list of environmental concerns is the mass consumption of jet fuel, an activity which creates an astronomical amount of air pollution each day. While scientists and engineers are hard at work on electric aviation, this development seems unlikely in the near future. So what can be done? Will you believe me if I say scientists have figured out a way to pull carbon out of the air and turn it into jet fuel? Yes, it's true. Researchers from the University of Cambridge and Oxford University have developed an inexpensive iron-based technology that can capture gaseous carbon dioxide and directly convert it into jet fuel. Currently, the experiment has been a success in the lab and its actual efficacy in real scenarios is unknown. We wish the researchers best of luck in this wonderful attempt to let the world fly green.
Igraspers, remember the incident that took place at the US Open 2020 with Novak Djokovic? A slight error on Novak's part led to his disqualification from the tournament. The organizers of the Australian Open have decided to use Hawkeye technology for the calls at the upcoming Grand Slam. The decision to use technology instead of actual referees is not exactly new. In the tournaments that took place post the long break, there was a reduction in the number of referees on the court to avoid infections. This happened at the US Open Cincinnati, Masters, and even at the Masters Cup 2020. However, the electronic line calling technology will only be available at the main tournament. The officials will continue to officiate the matches at the qualifying stages of the Australian Open, taking place in Dubai and in Doha.
Hi Graspers, today's postcard from rural India talks about finding your path in the most unusual ways. Ayushi Tripathi is a budding poet from a town called Karvi in Uttar Pradesh. While Ayushi was always attuned to a woman's place in our society, she couldn't find an outlet for her thoughts. She was never particularly interested in poetry or exposed to poetry sessions either. It was in February 2020 when the death sentence for Nirbhaya's convicts was being delayed when she wrote her first poem. The poem was highly appreciated by people. It was then that Ayushi decided to make poetry and literature her outlet for female empowerment. Since then, she has been pouring her young feminist heart out by writing down fierce poetry about society and culture. I feel extremely happy writing poetry. But when other young girls come up to me and tell me that my words touch them, I feel like I'm making a significant difference, says Ayushi. She aims to work in the field of women empowerment and social service in the future.
In another story from east of India, 22-year-old English honours student Rohit Bhattacharjee from Algapur village in Assam established an LED bulb manufacturing unit. To fund this venture, he even sold his bike. He has now employed 7 people and sells around 500 bulbs a day, earning rupees 2.5 lakh a month. This journey began with the LED bulb in his room becoming dysfunctional. The electronic shop selling these bulbs was a bit far from his village, so he tried to open the bulb. He looked at YouTube videos to understand the elements and functions of the components. He thought that instead of buying a new one, why not set up a unit to manufacture LED bulbs altogether? And that is how his journey began. Isn't it fascinating, Igraspers, how we find our path in life?
Listen up, music buffs. 21 Pilots has officially set a new Guinness World Record, the longest music video of all time, by running a live stream on their YouTube page. Every time the song is played, new videos would appear, creating the never-ending effect. The song by 21 Pilots entitled Level of Concerns would take you more than 4,200 hours to watch and finish. A truly incredible feat by the artists.
The riddle of the week is: I have 1,000 wheels and yet I cannot move. What do you call me? You call me a lot. It's a parking lot.
Can you guess who? This inspiring British physicist was famous for his explanations of the origin of the universe and black holes. He is the author of the best-selling book, A Brief History of Time, which sold over 10 million copies. Yes, you guessed it right. He is Stephen Hawking. Did you know that when Stephen was diagnosed with motor neuron disease, his doctors declared he wouldn't live for more than 2 years, and yet he went on to live for more than 55 more years? Clearly, your mind is the most powerful organ, Igraspers. Wouldn't you agree?
The word of the week is witty, which means marked by clever humor. I love your answers. They are quite witty.
Dear Igraspers, this week let's read Echo. This fantasy historical novel is set in the early 20th century, just before World War II. The story is about 3 different children living at different times and in different parts of the world. As they pass through the distressing times, each one of them finds the same mysterious harmonica. Playing it makes them happy and helps inspire others too. But how are their stories connected if they are from different places and times? Read this book to find out and share your feedback on contactus@igraasp.com.
Did you know that our eyes can see close to 10 million colors? But what I bet you didn't know is that newborn human babies are colorblind. This means that for up to a week after their birth, they can only see things in black, white, and grey colors.
Quiz time! Which is the first color babies see once color blindness ends? Send your answers to contactus@igraasp.com. Answer for the last week's quiz. The year's shortest day is called the winter solstice.
This certificate of appreciation is presented to Sanvi Hura of the Shri Ram School, Aravali, Gurgaon, for successfully participating in the weekly quiz on India's leading news capsule for tweens, Igraasp. This brings us to the end of our news wrap. It's time to start something new and trust the magic of new beginnings. Until we meet again next week, be creative and let the magic flow. Bye bye.